guys. This is Faraz, the founder of Property Mates, and we are back for a new episode of Behind the Mates, the Property Mates podcast. Today, we are speaking to Mark, the director of InvestLogic. Mark is known for helping executives and managers grow and blitzscale their property portfolios, from people who have never invested before to people who have invested millions of dollars. He helps them consistently generate new cash flow by implementing property investment strategies. Hi, Mark. How are you doing? It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for inviting me on your show, for us. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. That's good. That's good, Mark. So, let's start with that. So, Mark, can you please tell us something about yourself and InvestLogic?
Yeah, for sure. So InvestLogic, I suppose, as a team, our collective experience is well in excess of 100 years as a team. So, you break that down and you look at the number of employees we've got. We've got about 12 employees at the moment, but all have, from an investment perspective, collectively over 100 years of experience. So, I know myself personally, I've been in the game for about 25 years, and Adam's the same, my business partner. And, we bring the team on board which specialise and have a certain skill set as an investor, first and foremost, to, I suppose, adapt that into being able to provide a service for clients with a number of different strategies. So InvestLogic focuses on not only residential acquisition, but it also focuses on development, land subdivision projects, and also commercial acquisitions for our clients. So all from I suppose, a real static type investment strategy where it's sort of like a buy and hold, to more dynamic and active strategies as well. So personally, and that's leveraged through personal experience. So I've been involved in over 130 projects spanning over that 25-year period, and majority of those in the last sort of decade or so. And then a majority of these projects are really focused on the manufactured growth strategies from renovations to land subdivision. So that's taking that personal experience into providing, as a business, the different facets of property investing to help people at all different levels. So we're really catering for all investment types, from first timers to the more sophisticated and active investors, and really tailoring that service based on an end goal outcome for each investor, which, as you can appreciate, is vastly different from one investor to the next.
Yeah, that's incredible. I would say it's a very interesting journey of yours. And with that, about your business and InvestLogic, so that is where I'm really intrigued. I want to ask you, like, we used to know you guys as an over and above. Why did you change your name to InvestLogic, or what's the deal with that? Really interested to know that.
I think it's an evolution, really, from where we're at, as Over and Above was really catering for predominantly residential acquisitions. And Adam and I had another business with our business partner, Tyson, called Return Commercial. So we're really focused on the residential aspect, and part of Over and Above's journey was also in land acquisition for development projects. So that was really Over and Above, and then Return Commercial was purely focused on the commercial acquisitions. And what we found was, when people were coming in for that end-to-end plan to achieve that end outcome of being the objective of why they're investing in the first place, to create passive income or whatever they're looking to create in terms of generational wealth, it was a matter of, most people will start with a residential acquisition, and then they will progress from there based on their position, whether it's leveraging some growth and leveraging their income to purchase the next acquisition, because we know in general one residential asset isn't just going to get us there. So we really sort of, instead of coming in the Over and Above funnel or channel and then sort of handballing that person over to Tyson to manage at a Return Commercial level, we sort of analysed where the market was at, and we sort of thought, well, why not bring the two brands together under the one umbrella, and we cater for everything, every element of property investing. So that was where Over and Above and Return Commercial became InvestLogic. It was just an evolution of where we're at as a business and the different services we offered. And, all the active strategies in there, from NDIs, rooming houses, new build constructions, established with manufactured growth strategies, really bringing those two businesses in to become one driving force to help every investor.
That's good, Mark. That's good. Yeah, bringing both the brands together. And like you said, I'm in touch with Mark Adam. And then we talk about residential, but what you're saying is we don't know like who all our investors might be interested in commercial, and why not to bring every portfolio into one brand and try to help like, end to end to our users.
Yeah, that's right. Because most people know the residential path, and that's it. They sort of feel like they're out of their league a little bit with commercial or doing land subdivision projects, and because they're not developers. But what we find is that if you've got the team there, that it's more than possible for you. If you've got the right skills and the right knowledge on your team, you can outsource those tasks to trusted advisors and trusted professionals to actually still be involved in those more active strategies.
Yeah. And Mark, that's an important question I have for my audience here. Do you have any tips for people who are looking to invest and expand their property portfolio right now?
Yeah, it's a good question in a time where there's a lot of uncertainty for people, or they perceive it to be uncertain because we listen to the media. That's human nature, which we at InvestLogic choose not to listen to the media because they're the last ones that get it right. So we're all about getting our finance in place first. The property becomes secondary. So if we understand our finance capabilities, it will lead us in the direction of what is required next as an investment vehicle to take us to that long-term objective that we're looking for from our investment journey. So all about finance first, property becomes second. So always understand your finance capabilities, your borrowing capacity. Is it the right lender for you? How do you know that? Are you being charged the right rate? Is it the right finance structure for you? So really getting the finance piece right and having I suppose, real focus on that aspect. I've got a mortgage broking background and finance background and private lending. So I really encourage everybody to get their finances in order. The property then sits behind that, so for me, if you're sitting there in the stands at the moment because you're not sure on the market, or you're going to be waiting for opportunity or a pullback or these sorts of things, every market acts and behaves differently. So because you're feeling there's a correction coming along, or whatever philosophy you have going on inside your mind, there's a strong likelihood that you're going to be incorrect and you're going to be wrong. And history tells us that. So never try and time the market is probably the key point here. Is get your finances in order. There's going to be opportunities in every market. Don't believe the hysteria there. We're going to base it on factual information that we see there every day. And simply buying a property because you can isn't the logical solution for you in most cases, because we're talking to people all the time and they're purchased, but it's an underperforming asset. They may have a little bit of equity, but it's underperforming from a cash flow level, or both. So it's really not helping them get to their end outcome or their end goal. So what we find on goals is that very few people, perhaps, actually have goals and targets to achieve. They'll just buy a property because they'll speak to someone about it at a barbecue, or they'll read in the newspaper, or they'll read something or hear something on a podcast. It's very important that you've got to have a measured approach to these goals. And if you don't have them, it's like setting sail into the night on a ship without the appropriate navigation tools. You're really setting yourself up to fail. And it all comes down to your time, skill, knowledge. And if you don't have all attributes of that, you really become what I call a risk taker as an investor. You become emotional in your decision making. So investing does take an army of individuals and professionals in your corner to get it right the first time. And if it's not your first time, it's your second or third or dozenth time, it doesn't really matter. You've still got to know your checks and measures to determine the performance of that asset over a period of time. And does it still fulfill the needs of your long-term plan? Is it still going to be something that you want to hold as part of your long-term portfolio? How's it performed in the short term? Has it been leverageable? And by that, I mean, have we been able to take some of the growth out to get into another asset? So, it comes down to the location. Will be dependent upon your affordability and your finance to give us that growth to be able to leverage. Finding the right property in the right street, that's an extra special thing, because we can talk about any location, Bendigo, we can talk Albury Wodonga, we can talk elements of Melbourne or Sydney, but we've really got to be focused more on the micro elements of those locations, not just generalistically speaking. It's more the type of property in the top street that's going to be in demand to give us the best outcome. Okay, so we've got to bundle the macro and the micro levels of information up, and we've got to trust the source of information. So, there's a high likelihood here, Paras, that people are sitting on great equity and they've got great borrowing power, but their philosophy is driven by their own emotional interpretation rather than logic, okay? So we're able to create a roadmap using the equity and the income to build a strategy appropriate to you and your targeted goals.
That's good, Mark. That was very informative about emotions versus logics and backed by the data, I would say. And that's where you come into play. So very well said.
Having those boots on the ground too, it's equally as important because we can look at the data and the information. And for me, it's 80% of the toolkit. 20% is being able to verify and validate that information by being on the ground, having the real conversations with the people in the game, such as property managers, real estate agents, town planners, council, sales agents, etc., to get a real feel for what is happening and why they're seeing things unfold a particular way, and getting their experience based on what's happened in the market previous to how is it different now. So really having those trusted connections on the ground and asking the right quality questions to get the information that you need, not just general questions in nature. We've got to be quite specific with our questions.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah, that's right. All right. So, Mark, lastly, do you have any special offers or special discounts for all our users and audiences today?
Yeah, look, for us, it's really demonstrating the value and, going through InvestLogic as a team with over 100 years of experience, well in excess of that, and also as a team collectively, well in excess of 130 projects. So manufactured growth strategies, the value is in actually doing, not just becoming licensed as a professional and going out there and representing a client and asking questions and securing a property. For us, it goes way deeper than that. So the value proposition is in experience, the knowledge, the skill, the trust factor. So today, what we're able to offer is a free portfolio review of all the assets and conduct a comprehensive analysis on their performances and offer any guidance on how these assets are setting you up for the future. So, there's a recommended retail price on that, Paras, of, just under $1,300 alone, just by being able to assess what you've got today, how it's performed, and is it getting you closer to what your long-term goals are. And what we'll quickly unpack is there's probably no goals in place in the first place. So really dissect that and bring that back to a sort of bare bones level and restructure that and build it formally. So another offer is that we've got a free, no obligation, 45-minute, I call it strategy session or get to know you session, where we can start to unpack, the important elements of, what you're looking to achieve from investment, your philosophy, unpack what's mentally in your mind and how you make decisions. And, we're working with certain people, so everybody's not going to qualify for that session. So we're going to meet a specific criteria because our time's important, as yours is. And we respect that of every individual. So that's, just under $1,500. So if we look at that, in terms of value, with no obligation at all, free of cost and charge, it's around $2,500 of value, which we can offer.
That's really good. Yeah, I'm sure our users will really listening to this offer and will approach you. Thank you, Mark.
More than welcome, mate. So if there's any other questions, besides the podcast that people want to contact us directly, I'm sure you're able to share our details or email address, mark@investlogic.com.au. If there's any questions, happy to dig deeper into everyone's circumstances because we are all different as investors.
Great. Thanks. Yeah. Collectively coming with 100 years of experience. And thanks for sharing with us. If you want to get in contact with Mark and InvestLogic, just click the link below and he will definitely help. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for your time.